So I've got some bad news, boys. This video was supposed to be my first impressions from a gameplay standpoint where I play the game and give my thoughts as I'm playing it. I tend to do this so that way you guys can get my thoughts in real time as I'm recording, but unfortunately I came across a huge bug or glitch where my character just locked up in this weird animation. It won't let me change my armor, I can't drink potions, attack, or even block. I literally can't do anything, and I tried to go into old Shirako and see if the loading screen would maybe fix the issue, and yeah, well, that made it a lot worse. I ended up losing all my audio from the footage, and I tried everything to get it back, but alas, my young lords, I could not retrieve what was lost. So I'm stuck just talking about it from the experience, which just sucks. I don't get to give you my thoughts and opinions in real time, but I guess maybe it gives me a little bit more to reflect and sort of review footage and see what I really think in terms of that. So I don't know, it's a different kind of first impressions, but hopefully it doesn't bother you guys too much, and I'm sorry that this happened. But that's enough sad boy hours. Let's actually talk about what's going on with this DLC. At first glance, it's just a giant world of nothingness. Alright, yeah, it's a giant world of nothingness. I'll start with the worst aspect that still has yet to change, and that is the lack of travel options and also the empty overworld with hardly any substance to keep the player entertained while traveling around. I will give credit that at least they didn't spray paint assets from the base game everywhere except for this one building right here. This shit seems to be in every area known to man, and I have no idea why. However, where they really stepped it up was with the new mob designs. You got giant death volcano scorpions, you got electro furries, and whatever what is that, Sigalith? What is that? As you can see, someone smoked some of that good shit and made top quality enemies, and I actually really like them. Plus, they are a huge upgrade in the difficulty department. These enemies will actually eat your ass alive within seconds. The first enemy I fought, I thought I was just gonna be like some baby shit that's gonna ease me into the game, and nope, it literally was just this giant scorpion with a volcano on its ass just shooting me from downtown, just surprise style, and it was insane. And I gotta be honest, I was kind of pissed because it just came out of nowhere and it did so much damage, and just like, it sounds like I'm being angry, right? Like, where I'm like, oh, it needs to be nerfed, but no, this is what I want. I wanted the game to be more difficult. From a player that has put well over 100, 200 to 300 hours into Outward, I'm probably upwards closer to 1,000 hours now. I have played this game up and down and all around and beaten everything about it, and I know all the tricks of trade, the best way to cheese enemies, how to, you know, deal with some of the more aggressive enemies that do a lot of damage. I know the best armors, how to counter, all this other stuff. So even still, some of those apply to these enemies, right? But even with that, I actually feel like I need to learn mechanics and dodge things a bit better. It was sort of a new learning curve that added a bit of refreshiveness. Refreshiveness? Is that a word? I don't know. It was just refreshing, okay? That's the point I'm trying to get here. So seeing this level of difficulty is super refreshing, and I actually have to learn some new tricks just to get around some obstacles. But alright, it's time we talk about the gimmick here. And yes, I do mean gimmick. The city building mechanic is, let's say, strange. I don't hate it, so don't jump to that idea, but it feels like a majority of the storyline is based around the city building mechanic, which is sort of a downer for me. I wanted to basically be a mayor or some kind of leading figure in my own city, which that may be the case at some point in the storyline, but I also wanted the base building to be separate from the storyline. I was just sort of hoping to build my own town and then just at my leisurely pace go on about my business. Pretty much, I was hoping to just build my town at my own pace, right, while going through the storyline and just having another side experience, you know what I mean? Just kind of juggling between the two, like maybe if I get tired of the story, oh, let's go work on my city for a little bit. I kind of wanted options, and yeah, it's kind of not like that. The first part of the story is essentially building the city, and it is kind of time consuming. You have to build up a lot of money. You have to get resources, and obviously you have to farm so that way you can get money to get resources. So it's this whole thing that kind of really stifled the experience that I wasn't a huge fan of. And since the storyline is so connected to the city building, I just feel like I have to build until the story is over, I guess. Granted, this is the first few hours in, so probably this could change later on, but I'm just sort of disappointed about how the story is connected to the base building, so it is what it is. But maybe you're wondering how the base building actually works, so I'll break it down the best I can, but keep in mind I'm only a couple hours in, so what I say could be misleading or wrong, or just maybe, I don't know, there's a better way to go about it. I'm just going off of the basics of what I've done so far. For the most part, you talk to the old man here to buy materials and manage your food resources while draining your bank account in order to pay for everyone's food, because I guess Outward runs off of communist logic where everybody gets to eat because the rich guy pays for everything. After you've emptied your wallet and bought all that you need, now you can talk to this guy in order to build whatever building you desire. I chose the arena and the blacksmith so far, and they took about a month of in-game time to actually craft, which is sort of annoying because if you got stuck with that exalted buff with the holy mission questline, you're probably dead because you actually only have about a month to live. The biggest issue is probably the amount of silver you need just to maintain this city. I ran into Caldera with about 2k actual silver and 35 gold bars, and guess what? Yeah, that's right, I'm flat fucking broke. Plus, they also nerfed the alchemy method, so no more easy money farm. You now have to use this weird system they implemented where you find these like weird rock geodes, sort of samples, and then you trade them to this lady, and she will give you funds for your city. The good news is that if you find these rocks and geodes, she typically gives you about 1,000 of the currency for your city. So as long as you're keeping up with these rocks, you'll be able to manage your city somewhat decently, but there is a respawn timer, so you're gonna have to, you know, sleep a week or build something for a week, whatever, and then things will respawn back, and then you just rinse and repeat the process. But as you're doing that, you'll notice, you know, a week goes by, your funds are being drained as well as your resources, so you kind of have this weird imbalance sort of thing. I haven't found a good flow for it yet, other than the fact that I just have a shit ton of money lying around between houses, and I know some money tricks where, you know, you go to this place, farm here for a little bit, you know, to break this down, sell this item, blah blah blah, these types of things. So it's sort of a weird mismatch of stuff. So maybe there'll be a better method that somebody can come out with that will actually manage your money a bit better, but for right now I kind of have no idea. I'm just kind of guessing and lucky that I saved up a lot of money. But back to the alchemy thing, I gotta be honest, I don't think they needed to nerf the alchemy method due to the time restraint they put whenever you're building early on. It's not super hard to make money, but it's definitely harder now, which is what sucks. And I'm trying to think of other things, and I gotta be honest, I really, that's kind of just it so far, what I've experienced. I've pretty much done nothing but get to Caldera, talk to the old Sirocco crackheads, and pretty much started building a city. That's pretty much it. There's not much to say about the storyline. It's essentially build the city over and over and over. You have to take an item to this place to do this thing, or go pick up this item in a cave or whatever. It's standard Outward stuff, nothing game breaking or groundbreaking, whatever. It doesn't change up. It's really not that much different. The only huge difference is the fact that the base building is tied to the storyline, which is a real bummer. So the story is definitely losing points. I for sure think the Harmattan story is 10 times better than this so far. At least the initial process was a lot more intriguing. It was more engaging. I felt like my choices really mattered, and here it doesn't really feel that way. It feels like it's just this base building gimmick that they're trying to sell us, which I think it is a decent choice, but I feel like because they put so much effort into it, they completely skipped out on the story experience, which is really not great. Obviously, with the groundbreaking bug that I encountered that completely destroyed my audio and my character for a solid 30 seconds after the game crashed, yeah, that was a huge downer, but I'm not going to let that go completely towards the score, just because I feel like there's no real evidence of anybody else experiencing this issue. I tried looking on Reddit, I tried just looking on the Steam forums, I looked everywhere so far, and I haven't really seen anybody say that they experienced something similar, so I'm going to just chalk it up to like maybe a one-time thing that happened to me only. So unless it's a widespread issue, I'm not going to let that go really down in the history books for Outward. So with all that in mind, I will say my first impressions are a high 5 to a low 6 at the moment. We'll see how it progresses as I put more hours in, but for right now, that's where I'm going to leave it at. So we'll see what happens after I beat the story and stuff. But thank you guys for tuning in. I'm sorry for this format video. I wish it was different, but we'll still play the, you know, Outward, and obviously go through the story and go over some tips and tricks, builds, city building mechanics and stuff like that. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye bye.